here tonight on Halton News, right here on your TV. It's Wednesday, August 26th, and I'm Jessica Kading. 2 new cases of COVID-19 have been reported in the region since yesterday's update. There are currently 22 active cases in the region. 6 of those people live in Burlington, 6 in Oakville, 10 in Milton, and there were some recoveries in Halton Hills. As of now, there are no known active cases in the town. The start of the school year is quickly approaching, but many parents are still concerned about what this year will look like and how safe it will be. While schools are under provincial jurisdiction, the federal government made an announcement today to assist. Burlington MP Karina Gould joins me with those details.
Prime Minister Trudeau announced an additional $2 billion for the provinces and territories to go towards a safe reopening of schools. As Member of Parliament, as colleagues across the country have been hearing from parents in our communities, a real anxiety about, the province's plans to reopen schools. And, we've taken this to heart. And personally, I've been advocating, with the Prime Minister and with colleagues in Ottawa to make sure that we're doing everything that we can so that both parents, students, and faculty feel safe when they go back to school this fall. And so, this money is really to ensure that the provinces, follow the public health guidelines that the Public Health Agency of Canada has put out and deliver for people in our communities so that they have the confidence to go back to school and feel safe.
And how confident are you feeling about the back to school plan?
Well, look, as a parent, I think it's really normal to feel anxiety. And, over the past 5 months, we've taken all of the measures that we've needed to, including, shutting down schools and working from home and, doing the things that we've needed to do to really, to really flatten the curve and to keep it down and to keep it low. And so, as a federal government, we really want to make sure that that good hard work that Canadians have done over the past 5 months can continue. And certainly, looking at the province's plans and hearing the concerns from parents in our community, knowing that there is more that can be done when it comes to smaller classes, improving sanitation and ventilation, making sure that, our teachers and our frontline workers in schools have access to the PPE that they need is really important. I think masking is an important step. It's important for all of us, but we know that there are additional measures that could and should be taken. These resources are there for the provinces to use to do just that.
And of course, this is under provincial jurisdiction, but federally, what about businesses in the fall? If there is a second wave, what is the federal government thinking as a plan going forward?
Well, so again, in terms of the decisions about, when to ask people to stay home, those really are provincial decisions, but the federal government puts out guidelines through the Public Health Agency of Canada. Dr. Theresa Tam, our Chief Medical Officer at PHAC, is in touch with all of her provincial counterparts. We're in touch with all of our provincial counterparts. And, the idea is really to take these measures, right? Wearing a mask when social distancing isn't possible, making sure that, you're either there's hand sanitizer available or you can wash your hands with warm soap and water, whatever, as frequently as possible, are really important measures to keep the virus at bay. But, we are obviously doing planning in case there is a second wave, but it's important to keep following these public health guidelines because as we've seen from other countries who thought that they had the virus under control, if you ease up on masking, if you ease up on hand washing and sanitization, that that the virus can come back. And so we really have to keep following these guidelines. I know it's hard. I know we want to get back to normal, but it's so important for the health and safety and well-being of people in our community and right across the country.
Well, I'd like to thank you so much for your time here today.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
It's almost become routine for Halton residents to wear masks in public enclosed places, and many parents have put a lot of effort to encourage their kids to do the same. But as Melissa Candelaria reports, for some parents, the Halton Catholic District School Board is taking it too far.
As parents and students get ready for back to school, a couple of weeks away, those that fall within the Halton Catholic District School Board are going to have to make extra sure they pack their masks. The school board has implemented a mandatory masks policy, and what has some parents concerned, though, is that this policy applies to students as young as junior kindergarten. The number of signatures go up every few seconds as more parents in the Halton Catholic District School Board speak out against this mandatory masks policy. Stephen Rodriguez started the petition and says it's not about the wearing of the masks itself that has him and other parents worried.
I'm not an anti-masker, of course, and I do wear a mask when in public as required by the bylaw. And my concern is, there are a few concerns. The primary concern is due to the duration of the wearing of the mask. So I'm not sure if you're aware, but a lot of these kids are also in before and after school programs, and that could result in the child having to wear a mask for as long as 6 to 8 hours a day. And also, these are very young children, especially the junior kindergarten and senior kindergarten kids, and they could have issues with wearing a mask for prolonged periods. This is something that the teachers don't need to have to police. I use that word, but it's a strong word. We don't want them to have to do this. They're already overworked as it is, and to add this onto their daily routine, it's basically going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back, because they can't handle this. There's one teacher and one ECE to a classroom of up to 30 children, and there's no way that they're going to be able to provide the one-on-one that's needed to make sure that these things are on properly.
This decision, according to Milton Board Trustee Patrick Murphy, was not an easy one. He says this was the best option in order to accommodate the conventional model of learning.
There's very few empty classrooms. There's very little extra space. We're a growing board. So on a conventional system for elementary school, where we're mandated that all classes are in school 5 days a week, it's very difficult for us to spread out and to socially distance as required. We know that there are certain people who have challenges and won't be able to wear a mask, and there's provisions in the mandate for that. Our goal is to get to 100% compliance. Will we be able to do that in a short period of time? More than likely not, but our educators are compassionate people with common sense, and they're going to try and educate and work with our young students to get to the point where we can have safe environments for all.
But with the son going into grade 2, Rodriguez says this policy just won't work for him.
He can normally handle it for very brief periods when we do go out in public. However, when he has to wear it for an extended period, he gets angry. He will express his concerns. He will rip the mask off. He will even cry to a point where he doesn't want to wear it anymore. And it really concerns me that this would be forced upon him when he is not emotionally or mentally ready for this.
What Rodriguez and many concerned parents hope is that the school board rescind this motion, and they're hoping the petition will do that. Rodriguez will be presenting the petition and make a delegation before the school board at their next meeting on September 1st. Reporting for Halton News, I'm Melissa Candelaria.
And for those of you still waiting to hear when school will start for the Catholic Board, well, Trustee Patrick Murphy says they'll be making that decision very soon.
Before last week, our mandated start date was on September the 8th, and that's the way our plans were structured. Last week, the Minister of Education announced that he would allow a 2-week period to stagger the start. So this is new information that we received less than a week ago. We've had some preliminary discussions. The Director of Education has met today with our school administrators to talk through. And he has polled the trustees for our opinions on the staggered start. At this point, we don't have a firm decision, but we would expect to have something very shortly. And the strategy behind the staggered start is that it allows time for our administrators to educate and train the students on the new safety protocols.
For those of you with students returning to public school in Halton, a reminder that there will be a live virtual information session tonight at 7 p.m. Dr. Hamida Magani, Commissioner and Medical Officer of Health for the Halton region, will be answering your questions along with senior staff of the school board. Visit hdsb.ca to watch that live. If you miss it, you will be able to view the recording afterwards. The region of Halton has also released a video with back-to-school tips. Here's a portion of that video narrated by Dr. Hamida Magani.
Decisions around heading back to school will be different for every family, depending on your child's academic needs, whether your child or household members are at increased risk of severe illness, and your family's unique situation. If your children will be learning remotely, talk to them about how the school year will be different, and work together to find ways to ensure there are opportunities to socialize and be physically active. Talk to your children about the importance of keeping themselves, their classmates, their teachers, and school staff safe. Here are some tips to help you. Show them how to properly wash their hands and give them hand sanitizer. Demonstrate the importance of physical distancing. Make bringing a mask and wearing it a part of their daily school routine. Show them how to properly wear a mask or face covering. Let your child pick out a mask and make sure to label it, and provide a clean container or bag to store the face covering. Remind your children they should not touch their face or other people or put objects in their mouth. You can also show them how to follow directional signage. This can be harder for younger children, but having regular conversations can help. Remind them and older children about the importance of not sharing food or personal items, such as toys or cell phones. Ensure that your children are up to date with all recommended vaccines, including the influenza vaccine. And most importantly, encourage children to ask questions, express their concerns, and remind them how important it is to be kind to each other once they are back in the classroom. This will be a very different year, especially for younger children, and supporting their physical and mental health is critical to their success this year.
To watch that video in its entirety or see the additional COVID-19 information that's been posted by the region of Halton, please visit halton.ca. Action Milton is actively working to stop the Campbellville quarry and would like to remind residents that it's been 1 month since Premier Doug Ford vowed to stop the quarry one way or another. Milton Council has passed a unanimous motion asking Premier Ford to clarify in writing his plans to stop the application process from proceeding. If you'd like to learn more or help Action Milton, visit actionmilton.ca. Canadian Blood Services have been helping with a COVID clinical trial looking for very particular donors. Nikki Wesley has that story.
If you were younger than 67 years old, previously confirmed positive for COVID-19, and fully recovered now, you may be just who Canadian Blood Services is looking for. They are looking to collect convalescent plasma, the plasma present in people who have already fully recuperated, for a clinical trial.
When you've recovered from an illness, your immune system has developed a set of antibody molecules that are now present in your plasma that weren't there before. And people are interested in convalescent plasma in the context of COVID-19 because it's possible that convalescent plasma could be used to treat patients who have active COVID-19 disease. The antibodies in that plasma from the patient who is recovered would then be there to attack the virus in the patient who is still ill. What Canadian Blood Services will do is take the responsibility for collecting those samples and those units of plasma that can be used to treat patients. And we will at the same time be working with public health and with hospitals that have treated such patients to be able to identify them. We will determine that they are no longer infected with the virus so that we know that it's safe for our staff to collect plasma from these donors. And then we will process that plasma the same way we do plasma for transfusion in our centers today. And then we will ship frozen plasma to the clinical trial sites that will participate in this study.
Countries that have had the virus ahead of Canada, like China and several countries in Europe, have already been completing similar testing.
Because we don't really understand yet enough about COVID-19 to know whether convalescent plasma is going to be the right treatment or not, there are people who are taking two different kinds of approaches. One is to consider whether convalescent plasma could be actually used as a prophylactic treatment for healthcare workers who have been exposed but who are not yet sick. Another approach for use of convalescent plasma is to treat patients who are in early stage disease. There are some concerns about using convalescent plasma in patients who are very ill because there is a possibility that convalescent plasma with all of these antibodies on board could actually make the disease worse rather than make it better. So the patients who are most likely to be treated with convalescent plasma are patients earlier in the COVID-19 disease rather than people who are very severely ill.
For more information on how to donate, go to blood.ca. Reporting for Halton News, I'm Nikki Wesley.
Construction at Lowville Park. What you need to know up next. Stay with us. We'll be back with that and your weather forecast up next. Welcome back to Halton News. Construction of Phase 2 of the Lowville Park Master Plan will officially begin September 8th, and the parking lot will be closed to all vehicles. The park will remain open and visitors will no longer require a reservation, but the on-street parking at the east end of Lowville Park is extremely limited, so you're strongly encouraged to walk or bike. Some areas of the park that are under construction will also be closed. For your safety, please stay out of those areas that are marked as closed. For further details, please visit burlington.ca/Lowville Park. Each year, the YMCA of Oakville awards outstanding youth employees who have given generously of their time to impact the lives of those around them. This year, the awards were presented in a new, physically distanced way at a special curbside pickup event last night. This year's 2020 Peter Gilgan Leadership Award winners are Alamir Bakura, Shauna Buhler, Sanjay Hong, Cameron Kahn, and Raquel Lopez. They have each received $5,000 bursary to assist them with their post-secondary education costs. Our congratulations goes out to all of you. And here's a look at downtown Milton shot earlier today as we take a look into our 5-day weather forecast. Thunderstorms expected. That's a 60% chance of showers tomorrow afternoon, a high of 29 degrees. Slightly cooler by Friday. 60% chance of rain remains with us and increases to 70% by Saturday, but that temperature will lower, only 24 degrees as our high. And looking into next week, much cooler temperatures than we've been experiencing through this heat wave. Only 22 degrees on Sunday, and Monday starts off at 23, but not a cloud in the sky. The town of Halton Hills is proud to launch a new Shop Local campaign and has partnered with the Halton Hills Chamber of Commerce, Downtown Georgetown BIA, and Downtown Acton BIA. It's all in an effort to raise awareness about the importance of shopping at local businesses to support their recovery from the impacts as the COVID-19 pandemic has hit them hard. This campaign also aligns with the Chamber of Commerce's nationwide Canada United initiative. That's taking place this weekend. Burlington Chamber President Carla Nell joins us with those details.
Thanks so much, Jessica. Delighted to share with everyone in the community the GoCanadaUnited.ca website. This is a very powerful movement that's being championed by Canadian chambers of commerce across the country, as well as boards of trade and other major business organizations. And our intent is to encourage every one of us to shop local, to love local on the weekend of August the 28th. And certainly that's very key and important to supporting our local business community and positioning for them for a successful recovery from COVID-19. But the Canada United movement is very powerful because it not only supports local businesses when we shop and we patronize them, but as well, Canada United is about creating a small business relief fund that's being supported by RBC. So every time someone watches the Canada United video or likes a post about it on social media or uses one of the hashtags, RBC is generously donating 5 cents to a small business relief fund that will be granted to businesses across the country.
Local businesses do need additional support. I asked Carla Nell how the recovery process is going so far after the COVID-19 shutdowns.
Well, it's been a very long and slow journey. And while our economy has begun to significantly reopen over the last number of weeks and months, it's been a very slow process. We're not necessarily seeing the economy rebound as quickly as we would like. We are seeing definitely signs of progress, but we do want to encourage residents, business owners, employees to make sure that they continue to play a role in kickstarting our economy. So that's why Canada United is so important. It's about galvanizing support and making sure that for those businesses that are reopening, that we support them in a very meaningful way.
And now a look at how some of Halton's top companies performed on the markets today. Time for another short break. We'll be back with the Burlington Food Bank after this. Welcome back to Halton News. I'm Jessica Kading. While the Burlington Food Bank does have set hours, you should know that they will work with you to accommodate your schedule. Let's take a look.
Hi, this is Robin Bailey, the Executive Director of the Burlington Food Bank, and we continue to get questions from people asking us about kind of how things work for us here at the Food Bank as far as deliveries go and things like that. So the big thing for people to know is that our deliveries happen Monday through Friday morning, typically from about 9 o'clock until about noon, and sometimes a little bit after, and also on Thursday evenings. So if you're not home in the mornings, we can deliver to you on Thursday evenings between 5 and 7 typically. And if none of those times work for you, or if you want to do curbside pickups, same timing for the curbside pickup. But if none of those timings work for you and you have someone else that we can deliver to, we're more than happy to do that to make sure that you're getting the food that you need. Again, you're going to get lots of non-perishables, and if you don't want those, let us know. But lots of fresh produce, meat, eggs, milk, bread, all of those types of things to make sure that you're getting healthy, nutritious food. We're really happy that we have a great supportive community here in Burlington. Again, thank you so much, and if you need our assistance, remember to email us info@burlingtonfoodbank.ca or give us a call 905-637-2273.
Thanks for watching. We'll be back with another live edition tomorrow night at 5:30. For Halton News, I'm Jessica Kading.